5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm John Miglash from the Wisconsin DMA and the International Society for Strategic Marketing. 2010 has been challenging. It's been harder than ever to break into the creative industry. Father Critmas is here. He's matching up your creatives with creative directors around the world for Zoom critiques. It's time to make sure your portfolio is in shape. Set your goals. Don't let anything stand in your way. It's your destiny. Get focused. Do your research. So apparently I can only take so much of this music. So apparently Santa Claus is helping agencies get with the program on Zoom and do presentations with creative directors looking for help. The guy is obviously into fitness training, so he made use of that. He got the Santa outfit on, and he just capitalized on the season, and that's probably going to get a lot of views. I found it. I think I found this one out on LinkedIn. It wasn't in the mainstream. It wasn't in the mainstream TV commercials that I usually look at, but I thought it was funny. So think about what your assets are. Think hard. If you can't think, give me a call. We'll talk about it. Okay, I don't usually do this, but I want to show you why it's interesting. It talks about shortcomings of existing AIs, and one of the problems is that you need a labeled data set, right? And so it claims that you don't need to have a labeled data set. You can just tell it what to do, and it will figure it out. And here's the reason I did it up on here is because there's a little video. It says Hulk, Iron Man, and then the computer, you hit submit, and the computer figures out that you want a list of all of the Marvel superheroes. Now, the problem with this, it's a great little demo, always question the demo. The problem with this is, what if you would have put Thor and Wicca, or Wiccan? You would have got a list of pagan deities. Completely wrong. There wouldn't be one exclusively Marvel Avenger in the list. Not one, if you don't count Hulk and if you put in Black Widow, who knows what you would get. And let's back up. Connie Bauer told me once, a professor at Marquette. She got me into modeling. Put in Falcon and Hawkeye, and you'll get raptors. It's great. Connie Bauer told me one time that she could build a model with 50 customers as long as they were the right customers. And she spent a lot of time figuring out what samples to give to the model. We don't do it that way because, we've got hundreds of thousands or more of customers and maybe millions of transactions. And AI puts that through really well. But the demo only works if you start with unique Avenger proper names. Okay? Doesn't work with Vision. Doesn't work with Vision and Hawkeye. You probably get ophthalmologists or something. This is in the Vancouver Sun, Canadian newspaper. And it was talking about how principles of PR and communications change management help keep businesses flowing. The first principle she mentions is accept that certainty is fake. And I really like that because, we have this idea that we know what's going on, and really we're back to Wanamaker's famous line, half my advertising is wasted. I just wish I knew which half. And she says it's uncertain. And even if you have certainty, here's the trouble. Let's say you run a really valid split test, and you isolate the causal variables, and you get a massive differential. That doesn't mean the world won't change, right? It doesn't mean that conditions will be different. It doesn't even mean that you got the right variable isolated. All those things can change. So even if you have certainty, it's still historical data. And tomorrow will be like yesterday, unless it isn't. Okay? But then she goes to validate, test, fail fast, and try again. And this article came up because direct mail was actually literally used. And she said, but before you do an expensive direct mail campaign, you want to do some testing, and you can test a lot faster in digital. One of the board members and I talked the other day, and I told him that I was starting to understand that direct mail gave you 100% engagement. I mean, except the undeliverables or something like that, where there are no people. But that even still tells you something if you get return requested. Most don't do that anymore, but it's it's a way to clean your list. Anyway, so he said, but it's painfully slow. We just test against control, and that's still a good way to do it. It makes perfect sense. But the advantage of mail is that it gives you far higher certainty, because every piece of mail has to get dealt with. It has to at least get glanced at and thrown in the trash. Now, maybe they just look at your indicia, or maybe they just look at the font or the way it was printed and decide that it's junk and it doesn't need to be looked at. But, there's lots of ways to produce creative direct mail that isn't offensive and is still arouses curiosity. But no matter how you do it, it's still 100% engagement. If we use the measures that digital use, where someone just the open rate. I'm a OCD about email, and I still go through and mostly at least once go scanning down and clear out my inbox manually. Now, on the second or third computer, I'll just say mark all as read. I don't know how that gets translated. Even that action may get counted in digital as some kind of interaction. But really, there is none, right? And there's very little when I just scan on it. But in mail, that same engagement level or more, because you have to actually pick it up. Whereas if I look at just the sender, I don't, it's very, very little if you call that as an open. But in mail, you have to actually engage with your tactile senses. So mail is 100% engagement. So I think that the answer you get, the attribution you get, is much higher. Now, she does mention unique URLs in direct mail. So what she's saying is that she wants to use direct mail, but she's not going to do a big mailing without testing some of the creative components. Now, if you've already tested it in mail and you have a benchmark, you have what we call a control, then testing against it in mail would be a good foundation. The fact is, we get more certainty in mail than we get in digital by a long shot, and that's just the facts. Because you don't know. My daughter said to me the other day, in the Gmail promotions folder, I never look at it. They've organized it so I don't ever have to see it at all, right? Never mind your banner ads and things that you can't tell me one of them that went by today. Although I did click on one yesterday. It said something like, it was on ESPN, and it said, having a crazy parent builds character, or something like that. And I thought, well, that would be something I could get for my kids. Those who embrace change will be more equipped to stay afloat. I think that's right. Stay close to your customer. I'm just always amazed at how companies don't listen today. I filed an actual bug report with Google a couple of years ago because I got so tired of every tech search I did getting results from 2010 or 2005. When you put in WordPress and how do I get this to happen or something, it doesn't get that it has to be up to the minute. So you always have to manually click settings or whatever it is, and then the date range. And they could do that for every tech search. ESPN doesn't let me omit sports. It only lets me tell them what I like, and then they shove up all kinds of stuff I don't like. I get annoyed with ESPN, and now it's just full of ads. just covered over. So I need a new sports site to track my favorite teams, and maybe somebody will figure that out. But anyway, stay close to your customer, okay? I got a couple more articles, really good stuff. Maybe I'll put it in the can for later. But the world is changing. There's a lot of opportunity. Use your resources like that Santa, the workout Santa, and have a great day. Merry Christmas.